Sparkles with treasure.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Sparkles with Treasure. My name still remains your host, Treasure. Now, if you're just joining us for the very first time and you're wondering, what is this program about? Sparkles with Treasure is a program envisioned to create a godly awareness in the life of youth, recreating a new world where righteousness is pursued by people. And on today's episode, we shall be having a book review on the book Found by Mercy. Now, in the studio with me is the writer and inspirational speaker of this inspirational piece.
Mrs. Nkiru Ojimadu is a relationship coach, a psychologist, an author, an inspirational speaker, and an ordained pastor. She was also a coach for fitness, nutrition, and physical appearance through her YouTube channel. She is the president and CEO of Women of Double Honor. She is a mother to many, married to, in her own words, the most awesome man in the world, and she has 3 wonderful children.
Hello Ma, how are you Ma?
I'm good, thank you.
Nice to have you in the studio with me today Ma.
It's an honor to be here.
Ma, I went through this book and I'm going to tell you it was mind-blowing, it was inspiring, and it was educative. And I just want to ask you, how would you describe this book in one word? Or in a sentence?
I would rather describe it the way the people that wrote the review to me described it. Like some said, this book should have a post at each airport to be a handout to every lady that comes into the country. You understand?
Yeah.
Because most of the things described in the book is the struggle that most ladies, young people, undergo when they come to this part of the world and actually travel from home away from mummies and daddies to study. So
what would you say inspired you to write this book?
First of all, I was forced to write this book because as I wrote in the introduction in the book that I had a dream, like a vision, like write a book on mercy. At first, I didn't know exactly what to write. I started struggling, like mercy, everybody writes on mercy. There are 1 million books on mercy. Why me? Who am I? Who will read this book and stuff? But it's a timely book because of the reviews I get from there. People call me daily, like, thank you so much for writing this book. You just ministered to me, So I understand that God wanted it out, and that is why it's out.
Well, I'm going to say something. This book is not just a book I'm holding and just saying, okay, this is a book review, check it out and all that. I have read this book, and there was something that was captivating to me in this book. And it was about, we were talking about the story of Anna, and the Anna we're talking about here had a time where she spent in prison. And that got to me because I was like, okay, was God not listening to her? Would she have been asking herself some questions like, is God not answering my prayers? How will I be spending this amount of years in this place? But it got to me because a lot of people are in situations and they are kept somewhere. And it's not that God is not hearing them. I want you to explain, what do you think about people who are watching this program right now and they are passing through situations where they feel like God is not looking at me, He doesn't love me, He's not hearing me anymore?
Okay, I have things to say about this. Like, I believe firstly, if you are going through some situations, it's not probable, it's certain that you're going to learn some lessons that you're going to use to educate people in your future. That is, anything that you go through is in line with where God is calling you to.
Yeah.
That's first. Secondly, if you find yourself in a pit or in a hole, God is there. But most probably you are there because of what you did. Sometimes because you didn't listen. He's been talking to you, you were not listening. Just like Anna in the book.
Yeah.
Secondly, it might be just to educate you, as I have said, to prepare you, to pass you through that fire, to get you to where you are supposed to be. Then thirdly, God always listens. It's only sometimes he says yes, sometimes he says no, and sometimes he says wait. So in every situation that you are in, you have to find the answer. There is always an answer, but what is the timely answer? If he says no and you're pushing for yes, you're in for another trouble, you're in for another pit. So it's just for us to discern at a particular moment, like Anna in her situation, sure, all she went through is what she's using today to coach ladies, to teach ladies, to tell them this is the way it should be.
Yeah. And it was a very touching story, which means that everyone should get a hold of this book. And, you know, there was something that I read in chapter 7. You spoke about premarital sex and you spoke about adultery. And I just want you to tell, because right now, in the age and time we are, it's really rampant. I'll say a lot of people think it's normal. The word normal has turned into a casualty. Like everybody says, oh, this is normal. This is normal. But, you know, the time hasn't changed, and people are still preaching about this.
Right.
And I would love you to just tell us a little bit for ladies out there.
Yeah, I would say not only for ladies actually, because ladies don't sleep with themselves alone. They sleep with guys. So I'm talking to both ladies and guys. If God says flee fornication, flee sexual immorality, he knows what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of things, like I said in the book, baggages that will follow this later that you will not want.
Yeah.
Unwanted baby, not timely baby, you know, emotional disbalance, some things that might lead to even the lady not being able to have babies later after all maybe the abortions that she has done earlier just to hide the whole situation from the parents or the people around, and you know, and stuff. So if God says flee, it means flee. That is concerning premarital sex. But if you are in a marriage and you decide to go to the left, as Russians say, you know, do sex, go and make love to somebody that is not yours, of course, it has already made you a liar, and it will make you not to really be who you are to your husband or to your wife.
Does it even only matter like, is it only for the husband? Or what about the fear of God? I just want to briefly talk about what about the fear of God? Because for me, it shouldn't even only be your husband. I think that's even what scares people, my husband or my wife or the people around me. What about the one we can't see and he's still here? You know, but I would like to ask you a question about mercy, because the book is found by mercy. And you gave a lot of points in the book about mercy, and you said something about not misusing mercy. So would you give us a brief about that?
You know, mostly as Christians, that we know, you know, all the quotes like his mercies are new every morning, his grace is sufficient for me, and stuff like that. But as we know that as more as God is a merciful Father, he is also a consuming fire. So I have some, you know, group that I host, Women of Double Honor, and I tell them most of the time that you choose the kind of character of God that you want to invoke on yourself. If you want mercy, then behave accordingly. If you want him as a consuming fire, he sure will. You understand? So we as human beings, like he said, I have said before you, life and death, choose. And he gave us the answer, choose life. It's just like going to an exam and he's also giving you an expo, you know, what to use. So it all depends on us. And he being merciful the way he is, he never forces any of us to do what we are to do. He just gives you, this is it, choose. So being merciful is a great thing, you know, a great character of the Lord, but he is also a consuming fire. So we should be very careful which of his characters that we call on our lives.
Okay, for people who need this book, where do you think we can find it? And I hear it's in different languages. How many languages?
By God's grace, at the moment, we have it in English and in Russian. Yeah, you can show them the Russian book. Then at the moment, it's been translated to Portuguese and to French.
All right, wow.
And it's in Amazon. Amazon.com, and just type there. I think at the end of the show there will be a line, where how you can get it on Amazon. Kiro Jimadu, found by Mercy. Or if you're a Russian speaker, then Pamil over there.
So thank you very much for coming to the studio. I'm really honored to have you in the studio with me. And this book has really touched my life, and it can touch your life. So you can get it on Amazon. The details will be on the screen. And I really appreciate your coming to the studio today.
Thank you.
Until next time.
I'm Ayanya Odonwo, and you're watching Sparkles with Treasure.
Sparkles with Treasure.